I have launched over 1,000 products on Amazon, and there are 13 I will not touch, and probably even more. Even though one of these companies just sold for $1.2 billion, not because they don't sell, okay? Some of these do hundreds of thousands, actually even millions a month, and that right there is usually the exact problem why I wouldn't get into it. Here's what most sellers get completely backwards. They pull up Helium 10, they see a category doing 200,000 searches a month, and they think, jackpot, look at all the demand. Check out how much they're doing in sales per month. And then they launch straight into it and they get absolutely destroyed and just blow a big hole in their pocket. So I'm gonna count down 13 products that I would never launch, and the 6 reasons deeper beneath them so that you can try to figure out all the other products that are not worth going after. Because once you start to see these patterns over and over, you'll be able to look at any product and know in 30 seconds whether it's a trap, okay, or if it's worth actually going after. And number 1 on this list might be the most popular supplement on the entire platform. Here is the thesis for the whole video, so write it down. High search volume is not necessarily an opportunity. In fact, I would call it more of a warning. That giant volume number is not telling you how much money is waiting for you. It's telling you how many well-funded companies are already doing the exact same thing, standing in the doorway, waiting to take your money. So the demand that you see is demand everybody sees. The real money is in the demand that's real, but boring enough that most of the people out there just skip right over it. All right, now let's count it down and stick around. I'm gonna share in here somewhere that I'm gonna show you 2 brands selling the exact same products, same clicks, same everything, where one is actually printing money and the other one actually went broke. The reason why is a whole game changer. All right, number 13, iPhone cases. Number 12, screen protectors. I'm putting these 2 actually together because they die in the same way. They've got infinite number of competitors. Most of them factory direct sellers right from China who will undercut you after you build enough brand demand and all of that. They're gonna go through and they have no brand loyalty, no repeat purchase, no reason on earth a shopper picks you over the identical listing that sells from China. The first pattern that we're finding here, pure commodity. When the product is identical to everyone else on the market, the only lever left is price. And price only competition is a race to a bottom. You lose that every single time. But the part that makes these genuinely dumb is the version churn. Apple ships a new phone every single year, so you finally claw your way into the ranking one of these cases, and then a new model drops and your hero product instantly becomes obsolete. So you're renting this business nonstop, you're paying all the time, and you're having to rebuild your entire catalog every few months just to stay flat. Number 11, dog chews. Number 10, the supplement dog chews. The calming chews, the hip and joint chews, all those big search volume products. And number 9 ties right in with this, which is gonna be joint health for humans. So same trap. These 3, they actually look amazing on paper. Tons of search volume, massive amounts of volume per month, but they are brutal to actually win. I'm good friends with some of the biggest players in this space. They've sold their businesses already. I promise you I would never want to get back into it. 10 years ago, they were amazing. Now they're paying for every single result. And when they don't feel that result, you eat the 1-star review and you eat the return. The dog supplements are the worst of this entire list. Think about who's buying. It's an emotional buyer spending money on a pet that they love. The expectations are sky high. You literally cannot prove to them it worked. 10 years ago, this was legitimately like one of the best products that you could have launched. Today, it's one of the worst. And really the reason behind all this stuff is not because it's recurring purchase and it's for the dog and the dog's actually taken versus the human, but it's more the cost per clicks are so freaking expensive. The products are all more or less the same, and it becomes incredibly difficult to compete. So the reviews that are turning into this didn't help my dog, your return rate starts climbing. Amazon flags you for negative customer experience. Now you're fighting human psychology and Amazon experience metrics at the same time. Number 8, that squishy dumpling toy that's all over your feed right now, TikTok, everything out there. Don't get into it. Number 7, the focus mints. So pattern number 3, what we're gonna go through is the trend rider. These feel like the easiest money in the world to make. Everything's going crazy. They're going out here. 2 things are gonna kill you here. First, lead time is gonna outlast the trend. So the time that you order a next thing, you order all this inventory, it goes out, and now you've placed your order. And by the time that the units actually clear customs and land in the FBA warehouse, 90, 100, 120 days later, your trend is completely cooled off. Hundreds of other people have already gotten into it, and you're sitting on a pallet of dead inventory that nobody wants anymore. Second, this one ties into one of my last videos that I did about which bucket does it fall into. Trend products, which have no organic floor. The rank is being held up entirely by outside hype. This is TikTok, Facebook, YouTube ads, all these other things outside there, influencers. Because you never earn it on the platform, it's running back at the category level. So you're not building anything. The second that you turn off your TikTok and your Facebook and all these other things, you're catching a falling knife and hoping that it lands handle first. Number 6, probiotics. Number 5, fiber. The product's fine, the demand is real, and it's not going anywhere. The problem with these two is just purely math. So this pattern number 4, cost per click arms race. This is so important. So many funded players are bidding on these keywords that are the cost per click that is climbing higher than your margin can carry. And it's getting worse every single quarter, not better. So look at fiber and probiotics right now. Physician's Choice is sitting on a throne with a review count you simply can't catch. And that's the real killer. It's not just the cost per click, it's the review mode. An incumbent with 40,000 plus reviews has a conversion rate that's incredible. So your clicks cost the same as theirs, and then they convert worse than theirs on top of it, so you lose twice. So let me show you what I mean, because we live like this. We had 2 brands, basically the exact same product, same category, and the clicks coming in to both of them, we had audited both of them, were virtually the exact same. Same product, same traffic, same cost per click. So everything was virtually the same on paper. One of them won. The other one lost, and it was pretty bad. And I was trying to figure it out for a real deep time, but the winner who converted is the one who won. Their images were dialed in, their reviews lined up with the pricing, and their pricing actually made sense the second that you looked at it. It could get someone that could start, and they could also have someone that was a recurring purchaser. So every one of those expensive clicks turned into a sale. The other brand had the exact same traffic walking in the door, same amount of money that they're putting out, almost nothing coming out on the other side. Conversion was substantially lower because they wanted to do this 3, 4, 5 pack super big bundle because they were trying to do an AOV, which you would do on Shopify, not on Amazon. And the reason I'm telling you this is because when the clicks are so expensive and they cost everyone about the same, you can't outspend your way to the top. The only lever that you have is conversion rate. So in a category like that, the product has to convert at all costs, and you've got to make sure conversion is the biggest thing that you guys are winning on, because it's the entire difference between the brand that's going to be printing this money and the brand that goes broke on the exact same traffic. Okay, last 4, and these all share the worst pattern of them all. Number 4, Colostrum. It's riding the exact same hype wave as Greens did, and by the time that your inventory lands, it'll be a knife fight just like the rest. Number 3, Collagen. Number 2, Electrolytes, and number 1, I saved this one for the last, Greens. And Greens launched and scaled to $300 million, then sold for $1.2 billion within 3 years. So why would I suggest you not to do it? So here's the pattern. And it's the cleanest one on the whole list. In these categories, the search isn't really a category search. It's a branded search wearing it as a disguise. So there's so much volume for Greens or Greens powder or Greens supplement that all of it actually is going to this one thing. So their brain already said AG1 before the fingers could even cross it when they were typing in Greens powder. And so they're out there and they're looking for that. Or they type Electrolytes and their brain went straight to Element or Liquid IV. Or Collagen went to Vital Proteins. The category lives in the people's heads. They already know what they want. So now you're paying literally $12 a click on stuff with Greens. So if you want Greens gummies, you're paying $12 a click. To show up next to a brand that the shopper had already decided before they were searching on Amazon. And then you convert like garbage because you're not the one they came for. You're not buying the clicks. You're paying a tax to compete for the intent that's already been spoken for. You're just funding Amazon's ad revenue and handling the sale to AG1 or Vital Proteins. That's why Greens is number 1. It's the most expensive clicks on the platform. Ridiculous volume. Looks amazing on paper until you start looking at cost per clicks and seeing what is actually owned in the category. So now I want to give you the thing underneath all 6 of these patterns, because this is how you actually think instead of just memorizing my list. Okay, my list is much more extensive than these 13 things. It comes down to the math. And the math is simpler than people make it. Amazon's referral fee and FBA fees take a near fixed bite out of every order, no matter what you charge, okay? So on an $8 product, that bite is a massive percentage of your price. Stack your cost of goods on top of that, and there's nothing left for you to advertise. So you cannot absorb a $2 to $12 click on an $8 order. Anything under $8 with a high cost of goods isn't hard to launch. It's a guaranteed loss. You've got to make sure that that is never on your list. So here's the rule I actually run. I want roughly 3 to 5 times markup on my landed costs. And where I land depends on the category. Supplements, I want 5x because the ad cost is savage, just ridiculously high, and you need to have a fat margin just to survive the auction. Some food products, I'm fine with a 3x because the competition, the clicks are cheaper, so margin doesn't have to work so hard. Below a 3x, honestly, almost any category, really difficult unless it's a really expensive product. $500, $1,000, something like that. And the flip side, really expensive products have the opposite problem. It's an anchoring challenge, right? So a high price needs a reason the shopper can see it at a glance. So if you can't justify it instantly, your conversion is gonna die. And those of you who live or die entirely on the paid side, so your ad engine has to actually work or the whole thing falls completely apart. So the way to remember all of it, categories, click, cost, sets the margin that you need to survive. So only launch products where the margin you get is bigger than the margin the category demands. So the question that everyone always asks me, so what product would you launch? Because it sounds like all these are really, really hard. Well, it is really, really hard. That's business. I love a niche, repeatable product with a reasonable cost of goods. My go-to example, which is not as good as it was 3 years ago when I first looked at it, but is still a really good option, is tart cherry gummies. Let's look at why it works. The intent is specific. Somebody searching tart cherry gummies knows exactly what they want. So there's no big brain capturing it. And the clicks are sane. They're consumable. So it's a repeatable purchase, which means I can get the subscribe and save, the real lifetime value. And a customer I earn once, I can keep them instead of having to continually win them over and over and over again. And it's unsexy enough that the whole herd is not going to go chasing out them like greens or colostrum or collagen. So, I mean, I consider this a fairly boring moat. And the one almost nobody talks about, the stagnant, foreign, or legacy food brand. This has actually been one of my favorites and the easiest brands to scale on Amazon. The demand is already set, right? It's proven. The product already sells. You're betting on your own competence against an incumbent who refuses to improve. Trust me, I've worked at a corporation. They could care less about changing. It's too much work. Just don't do it. It's an old player with a budget. X dollars per month. That's it. No skill. Broken listings, lazy PPC, a catalog they haven't touched in years, problems that have sat there completely unfixed forever. And you move in with a real operator's ability and you can take the position on execution, not by outspending them. It's the lowest risk launch that there is. Okay, I'm telling you this strictly for you to make money because the demand question is already there. There's tons of demand. The only variable is whether you're better than this sleepy incumbent, right? And you are. Operator arbitrage is what I call it. All right, so before I ever launch anything, I run it through this filter. 5 questions. Is the demand specific or is it already captured by one of the big brands that's spending a ton of money? 2, the margin I have beat what the category's CPCs are at. 3, is it a repeatable purchase or is it just one and done? 4, is the competition actually strong or is it just old and lazy? That's a hard one to decipher. Let me know in the comments your product, I'll look through it. And is this a real trend or a borrowed one that's going to evaporate? If it fails on intent, on margin, on repeatability, don't launch it. I don't care how big the search volume is. That's the whole list in one on screen. Now here's what I want you to do. I'm not sending you anywhere to do it. Drop a comment in the video comments. Tell me your product or the one that you're looking at launching. And I'll tell you straight which of these is a trap you're walking into or if it's something that's actually a good product. If you don't want everyone to know, send me a link on LinkedIn to what you're thinking of. Do it before you spend $1 on inventory, not after. I'm here to save you money. Thanks guys.